attention please. Now the topic for today is this, social media trends 2017. Right? Now, this particular set of analysis is brought to you by Kantar Media. Kantar Media is the social media arms of WPP. WPP is one of the world's largest advertising agencies, right, based in Ireland, right? And Kantar Media is their social media arm, where they do a lot of research, right, on trends impacting social media, and this will be the report that we will base our analysis on, right? So essentially we're talking about this particular report is available publicly at kantarmedia.com. You can also watch a video, alright, detailing a summary of this particular report in YouTube. You just put Kantar Media Social Media Trends 2017 on YouTube. I believe there will be a video by this particular organization. So all these are publicly available data that we will be using to discuss the trend. Alright? And we will be basing previously in the last 2 years, for example, I used to base my analysis on the work of Australian researchers. Right? For this year, I will not be using the report simply because the report was not too up to date, in the sense that they repeat a lot of the same stuff that they are discussing in 2016 as well as in 2015. Alright, so I decided to use another report. Okay, and we will look at what are the type of trends that you can expect happening. Right, not just in 2017 but beyond it as well. The type of things that will guide, alright, the development of social media, especially in terms of how social media is used or is being practiced within marketing or business in general. Right? So that will be the sort of concentration or the sort of things that we will be concentrating on this particular lesson. Okay? So now, let us look at the first trend. Alright? The first trend is this. Alright? According to Kantar Media, the first trend that will be impacting social media and its interaction with business and marketing is that you find that big brands, right? Big, major multinational corporations, they are now much more into social media as their marketing strategy, and they are no longer limiting what social media does in terms of the social aspect alone. Meaning that they are looking at social media beyond the like, comment, sharing paradigm that we normally associate with social media. Alright? And what will be the new paradigm that we are looking at? Okay? This, for example, is what is becoming one of the most important trend within social media is the usage of micro video blogging, right? That will be the in-trend issue right now, right? And of course, at the forefront of micro video blogging is website or applications such as Snapchat, right? And Snapchat strategy, right, which is this limited time sort of approach in communicating events and things, right, has become something that is a trend that is growing within business, meaning that it is not only being used as a personal tool for communication, it is now also widely used in business as well. Alright? And there is an advantage, alright, in terms of using this type of micro video blogging approach in terms of doing your content marketing. One of the biggest advantage for companies and even for the practitioners and owners of this particular channel is, of course, when you have Snapchat type of videos going around, for example, what it does is that you are not clogging up storage spaces around the world. Because of the temporal nature of this video, they are all temporary, they won't last more than 24 hours, some of them, right? And because of that, you don't need to store them for a long time. That particular storage space can be replaced with other videos coming in. So in terms of the infrastructure, it is not, in terms of the supply side, the infrastructure will not be too much of a burden. Because right now when you look at the server space of organizations such as Facebook, Google and all of those companies and places, you find that it is becoming almost out of control now. Why? Because the nature of storing information now has become, the burden, not just the nature, the burden of it has become more and more. Alright? So this type of application subvert the need for huge storage space. Alright? That's on the supply side. On the demand side, it works because it corresponds to the nature of us, the audience themselves. Alright? We as an audience, we have become, our attention span has become less and less. Alright? Why is that so? Because the nature, okay, in terms of what the internet is right now, it is such a huge media space. Right? You don't know what to watch. You don't know to put your concentration on what. Right? It has become such a diverse space for products, services, personal communication, content, event, whatever you can think of, you can name, it will be there on the internet. Good, bad, right? Morally acceptable, morally ambiguous, anything, all sort of spectrum, social spectrum, cultural spectrum, commerce spectrum, business spectrum, technological spectrum, educational spectrum, everything is on the web right now. And how do you concentrate your attention to all of those content, to all of those events, to all of those things? Very difficult, isn't it? Right? And in a way, you have come to a point where there is content saturation now. Right? Where a lot of things that is going on the internet, it won't even register in your mind. Right? And you find that Snapchat is almost like a medicine to all of this problem. Right? You only need to look at it in a short burst of time. You don't even need to remember it. The things will be replaced later on by something else. Right? It is not something that is will last forever. Right? It is not even considered as traditional quote-unquote facts or even knowledge. Right? It is almost like a new type of information that is neither fact nor is it something that is not factual. Right? It's just something new. Right? And it has become one of the growing trends within social media right now. Okay? And what happened? You find that for big brands, right, there is a shift. Previously, you have companies going to, of course, the big F, right? Facebook. And Facebook becomes almost like the center stage for all social media communication. And through Facebook, okay, you will then try to put in other types of media to be connected with your Facebook presence. Either your Facebook account if you're a business, right? Either a Facebook fan page, right? If it's not an official account. And from that particular fan page or from that particular social media Facebook account that you have, you branch out. And normally when you branch out, you will also branch out using Facebook related media as well. Your Instagram, your WhatsApp, okay? Even technology that Facebook has a holding in, for example, virtual reality technology such as Oculus Rift, right? Which is partly owned by Facebook. Alright, so that's how previously social media used to work. Right? But now this sort of conglomerate of media network within social network has been replaced by the temporal version, your Snapchat version of it. It won't last forever. Right? It doesn't require constant management. Alright? For this one, you have like a dedicated team to manage your Facebook page. Whereby this one, there will be a dedicated team, but the nature of their work is totally different from this one. Right? But there are also problems here. Right? When you use Snapchat and all this, there is also a problem. What is the problem? Problem in terms of keeping up with the trend. Right? This one allows very easy sort of management and control. Right? You link it with your Google AdWords, for example, your live testing and all that. You can manage whether your activity or your content is well received or not. But this, very difficult for you to manage. Why? Because the nature of the content is fleeting. Right? It comes today, it will not last forever. Right? Comes a point, there will be an expiry date. Right? And that poses problem in terms of, should I be paying money for this? As for the customer, it also poses a problem, should I take this seriously or not? Alright, so there is a problem. Right? But trend is moving towards this type of engagement. Less rooted in traditional form of knowledge and information, much more rooted in the contemporaneous nature of social media, the here and now part of social media has become more important, right? Just like when you look at your, even when you look at your Facebook, what you call that? What's the name of the news feed of your Facebook page, for example, right? It is now loading much faster, right? And the contemporaneous of it, right? The latest one will be highlighted and the old one will be subjected to, basically it will be discarded away by Facebook, right? And this is being driven by this sort of behavior, right? Behavior represented by the micro video blogging type of activities that we have out there. And even Facebook is getting into the Snapchat action, isn't it? Alright, for example, in Instagram there is an option called Stories, isn't it? Which is basically the same sort of activity as what Snapchat is doing. Alright, having said that, even though it is a trend, will it last or not, this particular trend? That is the question, right? That is in everyone's mind, right? Right. For example, currently, right now, CNN is doing a sort of a social experiment with Snapchat, right? Where one of their more famous business anchor, what was his name? Bought shares at Snapchat when it was listed last year. So he bought shares at Snapchat just to see whether the value of the share can last in terms of can it mirror the value of the IPO or not. And of course, if you look at the share price of Snapchat right now, the value is not that good, right? So there is some question whether or not this particular trend has some longevity issues or not, right? And when you look at the financial standing of Snapchat, for example, a lot of investors, especially in Wall Street, they are not really that confident that this particular model of communication can seriously replace the more traditional approach within social media. But no doubt, a lot of companies are embracing this type of approach, right? Especially when it comes to certain business segment. Fashion, for example, right? That particular segment embrace this one very, very well. They embrace it quite heavily, right? This type of Snapchat-based activity, right? Okay, that is the first trend. The second trend identified by Kanta Media, right, is what they call as the wave of super reality. Alright, where you want to connect people to the flow of what is regarded as the ambient web. What is the ambient web? Essentially, the ambient web is the Web 3.0. Alright, meaning that if you look at Web 1.0, the original internet is all about text-based information. That was what the internet was a long time ago. Then suddenly came the Web 2.0 age. This is the post-1999 internet. Alright? The internet that is defined by e-commerce through Amazon. The internet that is defined through multimedia by YouTube and all the rest of the website that follows. And that is the type of internet that we know right now, isn't it? The internet where the content is much richer. Right? You have video, you have audio content, you even have interactive content online. Right? Now we come to the next wave of how the internet is being perceived and used. Right? And this type of internet can be personified when we look at this, the 10-year roadmap of Facebook. Right? When you look at the 10-year roadmap for Facebook, okay, Facebook is already here. Right? They have already achieved all of this. Right? They have created the Facebook page. They have supplemented Facebook using all of these particular features, messaging, Instagram photo-based messaging. They have their own messenger. You can use now video on Facebook very easily. Alright, you can even search for information quite robustly using Facebook. And of course, Facebook is also embracing a much more socially enabled communication, meaning you are not just communicating as individual, you can also communicate effectively in terms of using group-based communication. That has already been done. The next 5 years for Facebook, according to Mark Zuckerberg, will be all about this. Number one, increasing connectivity towards the internet. They are relying a lot on drones, satellites, laser-based communication, and terrestrial solution of communication. Right? For example, Facebook idea of improving internet communication is to use drone, right, to provide high-speed internet connectivity for island nations and remote places. Right? They are doing that particular activity and experimentation with HP. Right? Both of them are doing a lot of work in terms of using drone to provide Wi-Fi connection in remote places. Right? That is part of their connectivity activity for Facebook. The next one, they are also very much into AI-driven approaches. Right? We know artificial intelligence is very, very important for Mark Zuckerberg. As of now, there is no doubt about the fact that Facebook owns, some of the most advanced artificial intelligence systems in the world. They are so advanced that a few months ago, the AI system, two competing AI systems within Facebook, basically invented their own language, just so that they can communicate with each other. That tells you the complexity of the system that Zuckerberg has, within Facebook. And AI will always be there. There was a long-form article published in the Guardian newspaper last week, for their weekend edition. If you have time, you can go to guardian.com and read that particular essay on Facebook, artificial intelligence, and human personal liberty, and how our idea of making choice is being limited due to the advancement in AI technology used by companies such as Facebook. That is the second. The third concentration, this is where ambient or the ambient web comes in, which is a reliance on virtual reality and augmented reality solutions. And Facebook is investing heavily in this as well. For I've told you earlier, they have bought a sizable amount of investment in Oculus. One of the world's largest maker of VR or virtual reality related products and services. Another major player for Oculus Rift includes Microsoft, among others. So they have invested in Oculus Rift technology. Samsung has invested in Oculus Rift technology as well. For example, right now, if you buy the Samsung Note 8 or even the Galaxy S8 phone, you will get a free Oculus Rift developed VR headset. That sort of investment is among other companies that is also invested heavily in VR is Facebook. Another area that Facebook is investing heavily on or heavily in is augmented reality. This is what happened. This is how Facebook claims things will be done in the future. According to Facebook, they plan to teleport you by the year 2025. They are not talking about actual teleportation. What they are saying is that the experiential part of the internet will no longer be based on server-related information. Previously, if you want to search for information, you go to Google and Google scour the net, isn't it? In terms of what are the stuff that is being put in servers. And then they take that information and give it to you. Facebook says they want to go beyond that. Right now, for example, according to Facebook, you want to see a concert. But you can't be in a hall that is 1,000 miles away from you. What you can do, log in on Facebook, and your avatar will appear at the concert. And you can watch the concert using a VR sort of technology. So the performer can see you there, and you can see the performer almost live from your home. That is the idea that Zuckerberg is promoting. And this is what we call as the ambient web. Of course, this one will be way later in the future. But what does it mean right now? It means that augmented reality is something that's being well supported by businesses. And I've mentioned that earlier, isn't it? One of the key elements in terms of how social media became what it became right now is that businesses support that technology. And now Facebook, a member of social media, is also a significant member of the business fraternity, and they are putting a lot of money, resources in developing augmented reality. Right? And you will find that a lot more augmented reality-based approach will be done in the future. Right? It might not be like this. Right? Don't expect this to happen anytime soon. Right? Give it time. But I mean, common sense will tell you that maybe augmented reality can be used for what? For things like e-commerce, for example. When you want to buy stuff online. And imagine linking your Facebook page with Amazon. Both of them share the same augmented reality platform developed by Facebook. Right? You want to try out a new pair of blouse, a new pair of pants, a new pair of shoes, for example. Right? Your augmented avatar can be seen with the pair of shoes. Can be seen with the bag. Can be seen with the blouse. Right? Is that thing so far off in the future? Not really. Right? It can be done quite easily with present day technology and the sort of approach and the sort of connectivity that Facebook has. And that is what Facebook is planning for all of us. And they are not just using augmentation for social-based activity. Like I said earlier, companies are now addressing things beyond the social aspect. For example, according to Mark Zuckerberg, this sort of augmentation can also be used for education, for example. Let's say right now, for example, just theoretically speaking, Inti has 3 campuses. Right? This one, Penang, Sabah, and of course Nilai, 4 campuses now. And all are, not 4, because Nilai one they take different types of subject. Oh, KL, always forget about KL. Yeah. KL is the anak tiri. If you don't know what anak tiri means, ask your friend. Right? They are the stepchild. Right? The right? KL as well. Right? Alright? And probably this is might be more useful for KL. Imagine if you have those 4 campuses going on at the same time. All 4 is taking this particular subject, for example. Rather than have 4 different tutors teaching the subject at 4 different times, time slots, why not have just me? I'm saying because I don't want to lose this job. Alright? Alright? I already have a camera in front of me. Alright? With some form of augmentation technology being applied, I can make myself present in Sabah, in KL. Alright? It's not far out, right, to think that way now, isn't it? Right? Facebook is saying that they are also developing platforms for education, and they are also developing augmentation platform for office use as well, or for professional or for work use. Right? And that is the future within social media. A higher degree of penetration in terms of augmented technology. Okay? This is what Zuckerberg wants to do. He wants to develop a computer that looks like what Iron Man used in the movie. He wants to develop his own Jarvis system. Alright? We don't know how far he definitely has the money to do it, so I won't discount anything when it comes to Zuckerberg and his ability to do things. Alright? A lot of the stuff that he wanted to do, he has done. But he also failed in other fronts as well. Right? One of the most notable failure of Mark Zuckerberg is, of course, the launch of the Facebook phone. Anybody remember the Facebook phone? Yeah, so one of you remember. Yeah, so it tells you how much of a failure it is. Right? They tried to launch a Facebook phone, isn't it? With HTC. Right? But that particular launch did not go so well. And right now, Zuckerberg is saying that even the smartphone is an outdated technology. Right? He's saying that there will be a technological replacement for the smartphone in the near future, and he is putting money in those sort of technology. And it is based on the ambient web that we discussed earlier. Okay? Alright? And this is what Mark Zuckerberg is saying, that Facebook will be at the forefront in terms of creating what he termed as an ambient web. A web that is not just informationally driven, but an internet that is attitudinally as well as experientially driven. That's what the ambient web is all about. And Facebook will be at the forefront of this experience-based web. Alright? It will be totally different according to Zuckerberg, not according to me or Donald Trump. Okay? Alright? It will be different according to Mark Zuckerberg, and it will be a web that is no longer just driven by knowledge and information. Because the third part has always been tricky, isn't it? Experience. Right? Even when you watch Netflix over the internet, you play games over the internet, you chat over the internet, experience within the internet has always been limited. Okay? You will always say, alright, the best way to communicate is what? Still face to face, isn't it? Alright? You can do things face to face that you cannot do online. Right? You can convince people better face to face in ways that you cannot do online. Things like that. Perhaps that time when going online will be as good or even better than being face to face is not that far from us. Right? And according to Facebook, they will be leading the way. Right? So now let us look at what other people talk about when it comes to ambient web. Another factor that will come and to play a very important role in social media development is this. Not just reliance on augmented reality, but also a higher reliance on artificial intelligence. And a lot of analysts are talking about artificial intelligence, right? We are talking about many things, the reality now. At times the reality is quite scary, isn't it? When it comes to artificial intelligence, scary in terms of what? Job replacement. Right? That part is very scary for all of us. Alright? Even for me. Alright? Last week on BBC World, I watched an interview that scared the hell out of me. Alright? In that interview, the Secretary General of British Education Ministry talked about that in Great Britain, in 11 years' time, teachers will be replaced by robots. Robots. And human teachers will be relegated as teaching assistant. Can you imagine? Robots will become teachers. I will become their assistant. Right? I will call my robot boss. Boss, what do you want? Right? I need notes for class M1, please. Right? Yeah, okay, boss. Alright? I mean, it won't work that way. Right? But that's the reality. Right? Job replacement is a reality. Alright? And if you look at what's happening in the world right now, who is leading the charge in AI? Alright? It's not Tesla. Huh? It's not even NASA. The company with the most advanced AI is Facebook. Scary, isn't it? Alright, can you imagine? Facebook now owns the most advanced artificial intelligence. That's why, for example, until today there's a war of words, isn't it? Between Zuckerberg and who's that Tesla guy? Elon Musk. Alright, they are fighting each other on the web. Alright, especially when it comes to issues concerning artificial intelligence. Because according to Elon Musk, it's ridiculous that companies like Facebook should own such an impressive system, whereby that system can be used for greater good than just helping a company like Facebook to make money. And that's what they are using it for, by the way. 80% of the AI is being used for what? For their analytical and digital marketing purposes. For example, if you want to use Facebook to do a lot of what we call as targeted marketing approach. Right? How you want to target specific groups within Facebook and to market your services and products to those people. It is being used in conjunction with Facebook's advanced artificial intelligence. Right? And this particular artificial intelligence will change how social media behave right in the future. And you've seen that behavior already. Right? And this one is the third part. Alright? The third sort of ideas, okay, being propagated within social media, or the third trend is this: content distribution will become the life of the party. Meaning what? Meaning that how we do marketing, alright? The type of traditional approach in trying to sell a product is no longer appropriate. Engaging experiences will be the mode of doing marketing right now. And that is all being driven by the idea behind content marketing. Okay? Alright, for example, okay, look at this particular fact. Alright, over 80% of BuzzFeed reach exists beyond the bounds of their website. Meaning what? Meaning, class, meaning that on the internet, there is far more symbiotic relationship between content provider, and the audience. Right? And this is very important. Previously, before this, whenever you talk about marketing, what will be the first condition of traditional IMC marketing approach? Who knows the answer? If you want to do traditional IMC, what is it that you need to understand first? Do you need to understand the product first? After you understand the product, what else? Actually, you don't even need to understand your product first. What is it that you need to understand when you want to do IMC? Correct, the audience first. Alright? And normally in marketing, that's the word that we use when we want to describe our audience. Target audience. Correct? What does the word target audience mean? What does it mean actually? You look in all the marketing textbooks, all the marketing literature, all books written about sales and marketing, they often use the word target audience. What does it mean? Potential customer. But beyond potential customer, what does it mean? What does it mean? You are not wrong, you are correct. They are potential customer. And they are called potential customer because they are a predefined audience. Meaning that if you are a company, any company in the world, you are Boost Juice, you are Starbucks, right? You are Panasonic, you are Sony, you are Ford Motors, you are Proton, right? Any company in the world. Before you develop your product, what is it that you develop your product for? You develop your product for predefined audiences, meaning your target customer. But in the age of social media dominated marketing, right? In this particular age, your audience is no longer predetermined, right? It is not a predetermined audience anymore. It is a very much a audience that is diverse and dispersed. Alright? This is how an audience looks like when it comes to the business world right now. Alright? That is the reality now. The reality then, whenever we talk about marketing, is this. You have the blue group here. And then you have the red group over here. Okay? This is what marketing used to be, how it is being done. Right? Your product either target this one, or your product will target this one. Everything is predetermined through what? Segmentation, targeting, and positioning. But in reality, right now, in the social media driven world, this is what your audience looks like. How would you then separate the blue and the red? How would you do it? This can only be done. See? Content-driven marketing, right? So if your marketing is not content-driven, doesn't respect the idea that media, audience, content is now interlinked because of social media. If you don't respect that particular fact, your product will be you will find that your product will be very difficult to survive in a world like this. And same goes with you guys as well. Later on, when you want to become marketers, alright, your basic skill set is no longer being judged in terms of how well you work in a homogenized marketplace. Alright? Your skill set will be based on how well you help to redefine this market space. Alright? This is why knowledge on things like analytics, all of those issues are very, very important. Alright? Your normal class within the UH marketing program will not give you the prerequisite knowledge to survive in a content-driven marketing world. Right? You need to supplement your particular knowledge base using Facebook Blueprint, right? Your Google Ignite courses and things like that, right? To have an idea how to deal with this type of work, right? This is what I mentioned before, right? Before, this is how it works. Okay? Class, shh. This is how it works. You develop content somewhere else. You take your content and then you adopt it to your website and blog. And from your website and blog, you disseminate your content using social network. Now, because of the nature of the ambient web and all the stuff that we discussed earlier, all of the things have to now be worked at simultaneously. Right? Your content has to be catered towards many different types of platforms and many different types of arenas and spaces before it can make sense to people. Why? Because the audience are different. Alright, the audience within social media now is not the traditional audience that we are used to within marketing. Right? There is a fundamental shift from this predetermined audience into this sort of types of audience. And at the center of it will always be this, right? The idea of content-driven marketing. So the next trend in social media this year and beyond is a much more heavy emphasis being put on content-driven marketing. Right? That is very, very important. Okay, these are examples, right, of what are these new types of content that we are talking about. For example, you have what is called as conversational journalism, right? It is now fast replacing traditional journalism in terms of content. You have this idea of immersive journalism, where you can use videos and Snapchats to get into the action itself, alright, and adding into the immersion of it by adopting augmented reality and virtual reality technology. Alright, this one, citizen journalism, is also part of the new content development. Alright, new game journalism, for example, where you use gamification of events and knowledge to transmit ideas and knowledge across the internet. Okay, Snapchat as well, and the idea of drone journalism, being the perspective of how you look at events, has also been changed by the inclusion of new technology. Alright, these are just examples of what content has changed, or how content has changed. Alright, and the way previously content is like this. News is what? You have TV news, you have print news, that's it. Alright, and if you like to watch TV news, you watch places like CNN and things like that. And if you like to read your news, you go and read the websites of New York Times or even read the newspaper. But now, it's no longer that. Even journalism has so many different types of journalism. And what defines the content of that journalism? Many different approach within the content-driven areas of social media. Okay? Alright, we will look at number 4 later. Alright, we take a break first, then we will continue. Right?